All right, so I'm not going to waste anyone's time. We're just going to get right into it. This is the Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 roadmap. It just came out a couple of hours ago, and I got home, so I wanted to talk about what is in this because, I'm not going to lie, we've waited kind of a while for Season 2 to come out, and myself, I was really curious to see how they were going to handle this one. It did experience a slight delay. It was supposed to be already out by this point, but it's coming out February 15th, according to this article, and that's like the actual official launch date for it. But what's actually in this roadmap? What are we getting? You may remember I talked about the leaks a couple of weeks ago of what was, reportedly coming with Season 2, and a lot of that information isn't right. Some of it is, but, it's kind of a mixed bag. The problem I'm having now is that it seems that, and this is not just a COD thing, but Call of Duty and, gaming studios in particular right now seem to be getting exceptionally good at packaging things as if they're new when they really aren't. And you're going to see exactly what I mean when we talk about multiplayer, because that's primarily what I want to talk about today and focus on in this roadmap. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff coming to DMZ and Spec Ops and Warzone and all that stuff. So if that is what you're primarily concerned about, then I will leave the patch notes linked in the description. You can read through that stuff. A lot of that is also not being made by Infinity Ward. A lot of that is High Moon Studio stuff. So what Infinity Ward is actually making, allegedly, and the actual core multiplayer stuff, I'm not going to lie, is not that impressive, especially considering the fact that not only has it been delayed, we've been given all this build up to what we see in the roadmap as being nothing more than kind of a recycling of, I don't know, like a mix of everything almost. So as far as new maps, that is the one thing we were definitely wrong on when we're talking about the leaks. So we're not getting Castle as it relates to like a 6v6 multiplayer map. However, and this is hilarious to me, we are getting Dome from MW3, and that's cool. Dome, I think, will play well in Modern Warfare 2. So anybody who was a really big fan of that map, I think it's going to do well in this game, and I think it works. So I'm okay with that. Although, at the same time, it's not like a brand new map. You know what I mean? It's been in COD before. So, all right, fair enough. It is what it is. But as far as 6v6 maps go, we are also getting the museum back. Y'all remember this map that was in the beta? It's coming back for Season 2, and here's the thing, the only reason it wasn't in the full build of the game was due to legality reasons. They had to take it out because they were in a legal battle with the actual, J. Paul Getty Museum in LA. I actually went to the real museum in real life just to, examine the situation, scope it out. I kind of wanted to know what was going on. So I literally went to the museum when it was not in the game anymore, but it's coming back because I guess they sorted out the legal issues with it, and that means they don't have to make a brand new map. I don't know if that was the cause for the delays, so they had to get the green light on this. I really don't know, but it feels kind of, I don't know, disingenuous, or I don't want to call it lazy because I generally don't like the etiquette that devs are lazy. I just don't think that's the case. I think there's a lot of moving parts, and I think a lot of it has to do with the publisher too, but it does feel to some extent like, this is content we're being literally refed. Like, they are refeeding us this thing that we have already experienced. So, anybody who's played Modern Warfare 3, you've played Dome, sure, it'll play a little bit different in this experience, and that's fine. But Museum, most of us have already played at least once, if you even touched the beta, and Dome obviously is not new. And then we're getting 2 new other maps for multiplayer, so they report that it's, 4 brand new maps, but also not really. Number one, they're only for Ground War and Invasion, but they are slivers of maps from Al Mazrah, the, Battle Royale map. So these aren't even really new either. They are repackaged as something that is already made. So I don't really know what the situation is here. I mean, even if we got Castle, that was, according to the leaks we were going to be getting as a multiplayer map, that wouldn't have been new either. So I don't give that a pass, as it were. But we got literally nothing actually new for this as far as multiplayer maps go. And I hate to say it, but it's just as bad really when it comes to game modes. So I mean, ranked play aside, that is coming. An actual proper ranked I don't really count this as an actual game mode. But when it comes to stuff like Infected and Gun Game, these were generally part of COD on launch, for the most part at least. But these are being added post-launch in Season 2 as, again, things that we've not only already seen, but debatably should have had from the start. It is cool to see that Infected and Gun Game are coming, and even a proper hardcore mode is also in this roadmap. That's nice. There is a lot of, let's say, new stuff, but when repackaged in this way, it doesn't actually appear as new. There is hardly any new experience to be had in this entire roadmap other than, a new Battle Royale map and also the raids, which, I'll talk about in a second. second, but I don't know, like this is kind of off-putting to me a little bit, and I hate to be this way. I don't really like doom post about COD or anything, but like, I mean, like One in the Chamber is another game mode that's coming, but not with the launch of Season 2. It'll be later, but there's other one called All or Nothing that is throwing knives in a pistol with no ammo, and, you know, that's a little different, but, you know, I am, you know, scrounging for scraps, essentially looking for any little details of anything that's actually new, because I read through this roadmap, and, you know, if you're not particularly into any of the Warzone stuff and you're just worried about what's focused on for multiplayer, this is like, bro, what is going on? I mean, in positive news, there are 5 new weapons that are coming. You know, I'm not really going to get into like operators or operator skins or bundles. Like, I don't really care about all that. It's on the roadmap for some reason, but I'm really sifting for actual content here. There is a new assault rifle, this like 150 Hemlock. There's a brand new shotgun, a crossbow, which we figured was coming. These Hadachis, which, you know, is kind of a new weapon, but also not. I'm pretty sure there was like dual katanas before as well, so I don't really know about that. And then there's a new marksman rifle as well. So again, 5 new weapons isn't nothing. You know, credit where credit's due, but like that in combination with the, I don't know, almost like outright offensive offering of multiplayer content, it just feels so weird, to be honest. The one brand new thing that I actually am, you know, really excited for is the raid. I enjoyed the hell out of the one in Season 1, and I'm sure in Season 2 this one will be, you know, super sick as well. It's a very neat idea that they've done and executed it great, but if you're not like a Warzone player or DMZ, there is a fair bit of updates to that, and again, I'll leave the link in the description, but for like core multiplayer stuff, man, it feels like everything is now getting like scammed, like everything has been rugged, and I think this is indicative of the problem that I literally described earlier, where like the game is spread so thin that like they actually can't make a ton of content for any one particular mode. Like I would say that even Warzone players, besides the brand new map, may also feel like they're getting scammed as well to some degree. DMZ players may feel that this season is underwhelming. Multiplayer fans certainly feel like this is underwhelming. So nobody's really getting what they want because they're trying to appeal to everybody. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that they are the master at packaging content as if there's a ton of it. And like literally, look at this image. Okay, so like if we're looking at the right side of the screen, is the fact that we're getting a new operator, new skins, and bundles, and, you know, I guess the images of the weapons, is that really like enough content to justify taking up a quarter of the entire screen? I mean, literally, this entire image right here of just the new operator and skins and bundles, it takes up more real estate on the page than the actual multiplayer content. I mean, like, take away the game modes. Those could be like bundled up into one thing if they really wanted to, or even just be words or not on the thing at all. Like, the multiplayer content it takes up like 10% of the screen. And to be honest with you, I think I would mind it less if they just sort of came out and said like, hey, there isn't a ton of brand new content that's coming with Season 2. Like, hey, we're working on some new cool stuff. Be ready for it. That's fine. But don't package it as if this is some kind of massive content drop when it really isn't. I think it's the dishonesty for me that is the most off-putting. It's not even necessarily that we're not getting enough content, because like, who's to judge? Like, who's really to say on that? Sure, we're getting a bunch of, you know, old or reused maps and game modes we've already seen. Fair enough. Like, it is what it is. You can complain about that. But at the same time, for me, it's just the way that it's packaged is so disingenuous that it is really, really off-putting, especially considered that how long we've had to wait for it and that it's been delayed. Generally speaking, I think the core gameplay of Modern Warfare 2 is really good, and I think the game is solid, but I don't appreciate this, like, dishonest packaging of new content. I think that's what a lot of people's frustration is actually coming from. Like, literally, if you just scroll through the roadmap page, this blog post that it's on, you're kind of gonna, you're gonna see what I mean, where everything is so wordy and over descriptive, and I'm not even saying that they shouldn't like talk about what it is. Like, I just think that it's over explained to a degree where it's like word salad. Like, all of these words are on screen to make it appear that like, oh my god, there's so much to talk about, there's so much detail, like all this stuff is so intricate, when it really isn't. Like, it's over explaining something that is so unbelievably shallow that it's like, you know, when you're in school and you're like, oh, I need a 10,000 word essay, and you're like 10 words in, you're like, oh god, I gotta fill pages. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of attitude and that kind of vibe I get from this. It's like, we don't have a lot to offer, but we're going to make it sound like we do. And I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, it's not the lack thereof of content or just, the actual content that's coming with Season 2 that's the most disappointing. It's just the way that it's marketed and presented gives me this like really disingenuous feeling in my stomach. And I'm not saying like the devs themselves didn't work hard on it or anything like that, but clearly there's some kind of miscommunication or disconnect going on where literally one part of the community, nobody in the community is getting anything near what they wanted. Like DMZ fans aren't getting what they want. Certainly multiplayer fans aren't, and Warzone aren't. And I don't even really talk about COD like this that much, but it's just this weird trend that seems to be growing where games are trying to be so broadly appealing to everybody that they end up appealing to nobody and literally losing what was their core audience to begin with. I just don't understand how this trend has gotten so far out of hand. Like, to sum up the roadmap, you really don't need to spend like 40 minutes reading through all this stuff because most of the information isn't relevant. Like, we're getting a new Warzone map. There's an event coming with it. There's some features and like changes coming to the Warzone map as well. DMZ is going to be on the same map, and that's getting a new boss, like a weapons case, etc. Some new DMZ updates as well. For multiplayer, it's literally just ranked play. There's a raid coming for Spec Ops. 4 multiplayer maps that aren't even really new, some new game modes that, again, aren't even really new, 5 new weapons that are borderline new, and then operators. That is literally it in a nutshell. I hate to say it, but it's kind of a joke. Again, it's not the actual content that I'm unhappy with exactly. It's just the way that it was marketed and presented. It just feels like gross to me, and which is a real shame because I'm rooting for this game. I want it to do well, and when I do play it, for the most part, I have a lot of fun with it. It just, I don't know, there's some disconnect going on about like what is actually priority and what's important for this, because it's not striking the iron anywhere where it's hot, and it seems like they've kind of missed their opportunity, which is a real shame. I didn't even think I wanted to talk about this, but I was like, if I don't do it now, I probably never will. So make sure to subscribe, but that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Peace out.